Hello everyone, this is Moehawkman, and today I want to talk about some quests that I believe every new member should do. Because while questing is really boring and just a completely tedious task, some of the rewards are quite beneficial to you, and I will go over just a few of them. Not all of them, because there are some quests that do give you pretty good rewards, like access to minigames or slayer monsters, but this is mainly for a reward directly after the quest is done. So let's start off with the super basic one, and that is Priest in Peril. Now to start the quest, you do need to talk to King Roald in Varrock Palace, and he will tell you where to go from there. Once you're done with it, you have access to Canifis, which is to the right of that temple, and you have access to all sorts of stuff. There's a Slayer Tower there, there's a new lodestone, there's a farming area. There's also a small area where you can mine, I think it's called Nechrite, which is a tier 70 ore. You can also kill the Barrows brothers, the basic version, which is only 6 of the brothers until you unlock the other 2. Now the next quest I want to talk about is called As a First Resort. To get here faster, you can teleport to the Yano lodestone and just run south. Once there is a NPC in the bank that is a human, and she wants to start a business there. You talk to her and she will essentially start the quest for you. Now after you do all the things that are there, one of the best rewards is the daily ability to craft potion flask from red sandstone. Now this does require 89 crafting to do, but if you don't have it, you can still mine the sandstone and keep it for later until you actually have 89 crafting. So you can have thousands and thousands of this red sandstone in your bank waiting to be crafted. Now, an additional reward from this quest is access to the meat shop just north of the bank. Now, this is a pretty good reward because meat in the Grand Exchange sells for more than 1k each. And this store sells you more than 600 a day because it actually regens throughout the day, and if you actually keep coming back more than once, you can actually get a decent chunk of raw meat. But I personally only come once to get the full amount of all the noted ones and then buying all the raw ones. If you do it properly, you can finish this in about 5 minutes or so, and if you sell directly to the GE, you can easily make like 500k profit a day just from coming to this shop and buying it every day. Now in a separate video, I'm going to go into more details about how many shops you can go to every day to buy things like this and make a pretty decent chunk of profit. Now let's move on to a pair of quests that open up a side hustle type mini game that gives you money while you're doing completely other random things. Now, Throne of Miscellanea and Royal Trouble give you access to a mini game called Managing Miscellanea, which allows you to essentially pay workers to get stuff for you, and the rewards are actually quite beneficial because you can make quite a bit of profit. Now to access this area, you need to go to the Fremnik area. Hopefully you've activated that lodestone. You can just teleport up there and start the quest. Now the reward pretty much is you get workers after you finish Throne of Miscellanea. Once you've done Royal Trouble, you get access to more workers, which means more profit. So what you do is, as you can see from this window, you assign workers to a specific area, you fill up the coffers with money, and pretty much what happens is every time the day resets, you get resources from whatever the workers are allocated to. So for instance, if they are in cutting trees like mine are, or if you put them in mining ores, or if you put them at farming, you will get those resources. But the only one that really makes good profit anymore is the logs, because you get bird's nests, and each of those bird's nests usually has some type of seed, and if the seeds are good value, you make even more profit. Now as a side note, to get here faster every day, there are 2 teleports that you can use. The first one is using a Ring of Wealth ring. This teleports you directly to the throne room, but it only has 4 teleports before you have to recharge the ring. Or you can use the Luck of the Dwarves ring, but that ring costs 24 mil, and if you have the money, I personally suggest you getting it because the overall benefits of the ring during other things like gathering or slaying is actually quite beneficial to you. So if you can afford it, I personally suggest you get it. Now as you can see, I haven't collected from my Managing Miscellanea for a while because I was actually saving it up specifically for this video to show you how much you can actually make in return. Look at this. I've made around 4.5 million in around 4 weeks. It's not a lot, but you gotta remember the current values are just basic GE prices. It doesn't actually count for all the extra stuff, like as in certain seeds inside the bird nest might be more valuable, or the current value of just the logs itself. But this just goes to show you, you can make money while doing pretty much nothing. All you have to do is come back every day, get your approval rating to 100, and just fill the coffers, and then leave and do whatever you want. Come back the next day, do it again. It takes less than a couple minutes with the teleports, and you can just make pretty much free money for doing almost no work. Now, the last set of quests I want to talk to you unlocks a very unique feature in the game called Penguin Hide and Seek. Now, those 4 quests are called Cold War, Hunt for Red Raktuber, Some Like It Cold, and Back to the Freezer. You can unlock the maximum amount of penguins to find, and once you turn them in, you can get a massive amount of experience or coins if that's what you want. But I prefer experience because I'm not maxed, and that experience is quite beneficial to me. Now, as a side note, to help you find these penguins, there's actually a website dedicated to it called World 60 Peng. If you Google it, it'll pretty much be the first website. If it's not, it's going to be the second one. But pretty much what happens is you just go down the checklist of these penguins, and it pretty much tells you where they are in World 60. And you just go down that list. Maybe it takes you 20 minutes a week just to find all these penguins, and then you just go about the rest of your day. Now, I personally prefer to turn in the penguins every 2 weeks because there is only a maximum of 50 points. So 2 weeks is just under the threshold of 50. You usually get around 44, maybe 46, depending on if you get lucky finding the invisible penguin. But I personally prefer to turn in the penguins every 2 weeks after I've found the polar bear, which usually nets me around 44 points or so. Now, if I plug in that number into a calculator for those XP points, 44 points, if I put them into a level 99 skill, I get nearly 175k XP into that particular skill. Now, obviously, if you have less levels, you'll get a little bit less XP, so you should always put your Peng points into something that is your highest skill, or something that you really want to work on but don't like to actually do. Now, there is one last tidbit of information I want to give you about Penguin Hide and Seek. Some of the penguins will most likely be behind some type of quest area or an area that you may not have access to, so be prepared to do maybe a quest or two to unlock that area. Like for instance, the Elflands requires a quest to even enter, so be prepared to do that. But I still recommend that you do Penguin Hide and Seek every week because the benefits are just too good to ignore. Anyways guys, these are all the quests that I personally recommend new members should do, because the benefits are just too good to pass up. This has been your fellow RuneScaper Moehawkman. Have a nice day everyone. Be safe, be kind to one another. Peace out.